Hello! So this is sort of just like a quick, silly, fun video on the possibility that some speculation on what's to come in SuperBooth 2024. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make it this year because of health issues, so this is like the extent of my involvement with SuperBooth 2024, outside of freaking out over all the new gear, and I'll just be vicariously living through everyone that's in Berlin. I'm gonna start off by saying that I didn't sign any sort of NDA from any of the companies that I'm mentioning in this video. This is purely speculation. I have no idea what the is going on and what's new, but just based on some trends and like a few mishaps that have happened recently in the industry, this is what my speculations are based on. Okay, so first off, I guess pre-SuperBooth, old news at this point, the Digitakt 2. I actually filmed this video before the Digitakt 2 was released, so I had like a whole section of things that I wanted to see in the instrument. And here's that list. I think it's still gonna be pretty fun to go through. Desired improvement number 1. Don't change too much. Desired improvement number 2, no more downgrading samples to mono. Desired improvement number 3, more sample slots and just more sample memory in general. Improvement number 4, to have an option between global param lock settings and per pattern param lock settings. So for example, if you're using the Digitakt in a live setting and you're jumping from one pattern to the next, all of the parameters will lock on each of those patterns. So it's really hard to be fluid with any sort of effects from one pattern to the next, especially if you're using like an external MIDI controller. Desired improvement number 5, to have more effects within the mixers. And lastly, number 6, if there was a Digitakt version that had individual audio outs, maybe not even individual, maybe just like 4 of them, I think I would be done. Like that would be it. I would never buy any other piece of gear ever. And yes, I do know that overbridge exists. It's just not the same though as having individual audio outs. It's not the same, especially when you're starting to deal with something like a hardware mixer. So you could have a lot of fun with that combination. Things just move so quickly. So I've actually already done content on the Digitakt 2. Here's one video that I've done. And maybe at this point, nobody really cares because it's already been released, but was it leaked on purpose? Or was it something that was supposed to be released at SuperBooth? Before its release was announced, over on my Discord, there was a bunch of people posting web pages from the Electron website. I'm just gonna say it, like pretty much just complete fails from the web designers. Either that or they intentionally leaked the release of the Digitakt 2. I don't know. Is it all a conspiracy? Synth drama. In any case, it's here, it's amazing. Do you need to update to the Digitakt 2 if you're a OG Digitakt owner? So far, I'm actually gonna go with no on that one because they are very similar units, although we'll see where I'm at with that in about a month from now. What I will say about the OG Digitakt, that despite the competition, it's still been the unit that's been out on my desk, the unit that I use the most. It was even in my Gear I'll Never Sell video, although I'm gonna be selling it now because the Digitakt 2 is essentially the exact same thing, but with a facelift. It's the same sort of thing as with the OG OP1 versus the OP1 Field. Pretty much the exact same workflow, but they modernized the OP1 Field. It's a lot more compatible with software, other instruments. And speaking of the OP1 and Teenage Engineering, I'm hoping that they don't come out with something ridiculously expensive that's not super useful to synth users. We all kind of know what's going on when they release products like that. It's more of a design thing. It's super hype. It's like super cool to hold in your hand. It is useful, super expensive. Things like the TP7 feel more like designer collector's items that'd be cool to have like 30 years from now, be like, ooh, what's that? But they caught us by surprise a few months ago. I like the direction that they took a turn into with the EP series. The EP133 is very useful for the price. This is a great sampler. I use it a lot as a drum machine. I'm starting to see people have multiple EP133s, which is still affordable. Like 2 of them would cost, what is it, $600? I'm almost certain there's gonna be other EP units. They might release one at SuperBooth, we don't know. It's got this trend of being somewhere in between the Pocket Operator series and the OPZ in terms of capabilities. In a way, the EP133 is like the next iteration of the POKO, KO2, right? It's like a souped up POKO. Honestly, with Teenage Engineering, you just don't know what they're gonna be coming up with next, but I am speculating that there's gonna be another EP unit coming out at SuperBooth. Maybe, I think. I'm hoping that Korg continued to update their acoustic synthesis phase 5. This was or is a unit that's like somewhere between synthesis and acoustic. It kind of reminds me of one of those African thumb pianos called a bira. When we all saw it, it was interesting but clearly unfinished. And it would just be cool to see like the next several iterations of that instrument and see where they go with it. I've always liked that idea, feel, or like mixture between something acoustic and something synthesis. And I find that there's a lot of potential to develop something really unique there, something that the industry hasn't seen much of. I find that that's something that's becoming more and more challenging in this industry. We're basically just seeing the same instruments being re-released with like little workflow changes. And I know there's like a whole marketing scheme behind it and blah, blah, blah. That would be really interesting. And with Korg in particular, it's been a while since they've released something that really differentiates them from other companies. I don't know, maybe this is like a hot take, but I feel like the Minilog monologue series, like that was an era of Korg that I was super into. The Micro Korg as well, obviously they have a ton of classics, but recently, I don't know. Now that we've gotten that all out of the way, let's talk about today's sponsor, DistroKid. So if you're looking for a way to independently distribute your music to major streaming platforms, go with DistroKid. Here's a few reasons why. In terms of what's new, they recently released a smartphone app, which makes checking your important DistroKid stats easy and accessible. The app is now available on Android through the Play Store. Essentially everything that you've been able to do on the DistroKid desktop app, you're now able to do through your smartphone. In fact, here's a list of key features that the app offers you. You might want to pause it now if you want to check them out. In today's day and age, we all know how many hats we have to wear as artists and producers. It can just be a lot. So write the music, produce the music. Then you've got to create content to promote it a few weeks before it's released. Then you've got to continue creating content after it's been released to promote it. It's a lot, and I'm not saying that DistroKid does all of this work for you, but they do make it a lot easier for us with the free promotional tools that they offer. The one I use most is Hyperfollow. It's essentially a free landing page or link tree. It's super clean. You could link maybe your latest video, your latest single, other important links you'd like to lead people to. I also use promo cards whenever I release a single. Just select the single that you would like to promote and it'll auto-generate a few different options for you to choose from. Go with DistroKid. It's just over $20 a year to release unlimited music to all major streaming platforms. You keep 100% of your streaming royalties. So many other tools that they offer for someone who's independent. They're made for us. And there is a discount linked in the description of this video if you would like to join. Those are my speculations. What do you guys think? I always like to have discussions in the comment section. If you have any questions for me personally, you can reach out to me anywhere. And yeah, that's it. Hope to see you soon.